This video could potentially be one of the most important videos you've heard in a long, long time. Did you know that you could be in danger of living your entire life completely on the wrong track, not being fulfilled, not having that sense of purpose? I'm going to show you how the ego can easily take you off track and send you down a path living a life of complete unfulfillment. We've been taught since we're little to work all these hours, go to school, work hard, go to college, get a job, and make a lot of money. And we do that. We make money and we buy cars, we buy houses, we go on trips, all sorts of fun, incredible things. Well, I'm here to tell you that those are all distractions. Society is set up to distract you from your true purpose. We're here as light workers to ground, anchor this high frequency light. We're here to assist in the ascension process of the planet, the solar system, and the universe. And we're here to help others remember who they are and ground their higher selves as well. Society is set up to distract us from all of that. It puts us on the singular focus of material wealth, accumulating stuff. Now, the danger in that is we could live a lifetime of working all these hours, accumulating all of this money and all these things and taking all these amazing trips and get to the end of our lives and realize that something very significant has been missing. And that is you have not lived a life of fulfillment, a life that is in alignment with your soul purpose. Wouldn't it be great to be able to come to that realization today, right now, in this moment, and start to analyze what you've been doing, how your ego has pulling you off course for a number of years into a life of essentially unfulfillment, maybe even unhappiness and misery? We like to cover things up. When we're not feeling fulfilled, when we have that emptiness in our heart, in our soul, deep within, that thing that just doesn't feel right, we'll distract ourselves. But hey, that's easy to do because you've been working so hard, you've accumulated some money, you could go out and buy something. You can go buy a boat, you can go buy a car, you could go on a trip. Whatever it is for you, it's very easy to distract yourself from those feelings. Think of when we were kids. I know I've had this experience. I've been in a store and when I was really, really little, or I've seen it happen as an adult with other people and their children in stores. Maybe the child wants to buy a toy and the parents say no, and the child throws a temper tantrum, and the parents end up buying the child the toy. That's that instant gratification I'm talking about. The child had some emotional response come up, and it was a Band-Aid was put on it by the parents by buying them the toy. So the child never really had to sit and feel those emotions. And that's what we do. That's what we do to our kids. That's what we do to ourselves as adults. Just because we're grown, we still have that wounded inner child that wants. We, as the aware, conscious adult, need to take that responsibility and allow that inner child space to feel those feelings. But what happens is we go out and we buy the inner child a toy in the form of some material thing. And we are set up for that. That is programming, that is limiting beliefs at play as adults. Things we experience as kids are alive and well as adults. Well, it is time to start to feel those emotions. I've noticed the past 4 or 5 years, I've kind of pulled away from the need to purchase material things. At one point, before my kids were able to drive, it was my wife and I, we had like 5 cars. I just kept buying cars, kept buying stuff. I was filling a hole. Wasn't really feeling it with my career. Even though, I was very productive in it and I was good at it, there was a hole inside. So I tried to fill that hole with stuff. And that was that instant gratification that pulled me away from having to feel those feelings inside, that something was amiss. And what was amiss is that I was not doing the work that I came here to do, that I was born to do, my life purpose, which is what I'm doing now. So before I got into what I'm doing now, I kind of had to detach from the want and the need of all that material stuff, because I know, when I gave up that career, my financial situation could potentially change as I started to do business and coaching. And I needed to detach from that. And the interesting thing was those things became less important to me on a deep, deep level. So it's not like I had to cut myself off or sacrifice anything. I just realized I didn't need them anymore. So that's how my soul kind of guided me. As I healed, I changed and I no longer needed those things. So I was in a position now where I didn't have to distract myself from this feeling of unfulfillment, this feeling of not living my life purpose by going and buying things like I had in the past. I had moved out of a career that was not in total alignment with me. I stepped into a career where I could live my purpose and help you guys start coaching, producing content and things like that, sharing my experiences, which allowed me to really take that hole at the bottom of that cup and patch it. So now I'm creating content, for example, and I'm living my purpose, and the energy is coming forward to do that. That hole in the bottom of that cup is sealed. So the cup starts to fill, and I start to feel less unfulfilled. I start to feel more fulfilled because I am living my purpose. And that's what we need to do. I'm not saying go out and quit your job, but if you're finding that you are going to work day in, day out, you're living Groundhog Day, guys. Let's face it. Okay. Same day over and over and over again. You're going through the motions. And when you start to feel really crappy about it, maybe a little bit of awareness comes forward that you're not living the life that you feel you should be living. You're starting to feel that hole. That's when the ego is going to come forward and say, let's take a trip. And that distracts you. You need to be aware of that. Be aware of those moments where the ego steps in to try to help you, to try to make you feel safe. You need to feel those feelings. You need to lean into those feelings and breathe and ground with that. That is your soul guiding you. Your higher self is guiding you inward to feel this so that you could reconnect up with your divine blueprint, with your intuition, and bring forward changes in your life to kind of shift back onto your life, the path of your life purpose. And that's what we need to do. That's what I did. That's what I would hope you guys are going to start to do if you're really feeling that emptiness and you're finding that you're getting instant gratification by doing external things so that you could push that feeling off, because that feeling will always return, and it will return in a much louder way. This happens with relationships as well. You'll go do something to push feelings. Maybe the relationship's no longer resonating. You're pushing feelings down. You're going to do something to distract yourself from it. But what happens? They come back in a louder way. So wouldn't it be great to bring awareness to these emotions, to bring awareness to the situation now instead of when you're 70 or 80 years old and there's not a whole lot you can do about it at that point in time and have regret? So when we could learn to let go of that instant gratification, get inside and really feel and take steps towards a path that leads to fulfillment, not necessarily wealth initially, but fulfillment, we start to maintain energy. We start to get energy. We start to feel more fulfilled. And we're going to find that the pure act of leaning into that direction fulfills us, not the monetary gain. Okay. And when we could do that, what happens is we really patch up that hole in the bottom of that cup. And now it takes little things to start to fill that cup, because the energy is not just falling out the bottom. It's not draining out the bottom. So we lean into that a little bit more. And what happens is we start to get a little bit of momentum and a little bit of energy. And what we think we expect starts to change. We lean into the expectation of feeling fulfilled instead of some sort of external results initially. Results will come. If you're walking your path and you're leaning into your path, the energy and the motivation and the results will come, but they're going to come in a very different way than how we've been programmed to believe since we were little. Everything is always measured from a monetary standpoint. Everything. When you look around, you're seeing a lot of facades. A lot of people are borrowing money. They're creating this appearance of a certain result, a certain class of wealth, whatever it may be. And they're working ungodly hours to maintain that. Okay. And they're finding that they are, again, not living a fulfilled life because they are not living their life purpose. Their energy is going out into the field to maintain an appearance of a lifestyle instead of going into their life purpose. So when we can detach from the expectations of those results and we can lean into that energy and we could sit and soothe that inner child who's not getting the toys right away, something shifts. We get back into alignment. And again, the motivation comes from the sheer act of helping, of assisting, of creating, of coaching, whatever it is for you that gets your message out, that gets your voice out, that helps others, that fills that cup. That's what you'll start to do, and that's what you're going to feel fulfilled in doing. And the other stuff is just going to kind of fall away. As you're falling away, it's gonna fall away. You're going to need it less. You're going to detach from those material things, and you're going to get back into alignment, and you're going to get that wind behind your sails. When we're constantly putting energy into programming to create that facade, that lifestyle, it's like we're rowing a boat. We're paddling a boat as hard as we can that has a huge sail on it, but we don't realize there's a sail there. We don't have the wind pushing the sail because we're so focused to pedaling, because that's what our programming says we need to do. We need to work really, really hard to get that momentum to get going. But when we can lean into that energy and we can lean in and start taking action and even small steps into what truly fulfills us, our life purpose, we're going to realize we don't have to pedal. The wind is going to pick up and we could hoist that giant sail and we could sit back and let the currents of the universe carry us. Guys, this is a powerful, powerful message. Listen to this video as many times as you need to. If you're out in the daily grind and going through the motions, you're asleep, you're getting up. It's like Groundhog Day. You're living the same day over and over again, right? Hit that pause button for a moment and think, is what I'm doing truly fulfilling me? Am I tired? Am I feeling out of alignment? What do I need to do to change things? And I'm not talking about just changing your life drastically, quitting your job, whatever it may be. I'm talking about bringing awareness to the process. Bring awareness to what you're feeling and acknowledge it and be okay with it. Very easy to go out and buy yourself another thing, take another trip so that you don't need to feel that. But that gets old after a while. At some point, those things don't do it anymore. They don't do it because that hole is in the bottom of that cup and it never fills. So lean into what feels right deep within your heart, deep within your soul, and sit with that and start taking a small step, or small steps in that direction. And you're going to feel the energy to fully support that vision come forward, along with the motivation and the how you're going to do this, how you're going to manifest a life that is in fulfillment with your soul purpose. Thank you.